Okay, we're picking up where we left off. I have the caliper mounting bracket now up on the vehicle, hand tight with the bolts. We're going to use the air ratchet to reinstall the bolts. So what we're going to do is put the right size socket onto the air ratchet. Again, this is a 3/8 drive. And we're going to uncouple. Again, you just have to pull back the collar here. Okay, so you got to basically pull back on this part to release the air hose. And we're going to couple it onto this tool now. Okay, so we have our air tool, air ratchet hooked up. This has a trigger. Put it right on the bolt that we want to tighten up. If we have to change the direction, there's a little lever in the back. You got to flip one way or the other. Right now, I look at it, it's turning the right way. Okay, so that's tight. Okay, once it tightens up with the air ratchet, you want to give it a pull with your hand just to double check and make sure you're tight enough. Now, there's actually torque specifications, which we can look up. We'll show you how to do that. Right now, I'm just snugging these bolts up nice and tight. The manufacturer recommends that you tighten them to the correct amount of torque, which again, we can show you how to do that with a torque wrench. All right, so at this point, we can now reinstall our 2 brake pads. And again, you might want to put new brake pads on if these were worn out. Again, we have an inner and outer brake pad. They sit inside the slide that comes with the brake pads. There's a stainless steel material to keep them from rusting. Okay, the outer brake pad's gonna fit right inside here like this. You can see the top one goes inside that. Bottom one goes in there. Okay, so brake pads go on either side of the rotor, which you can see spins in the middle. And when the brakes come on, it squeezes these two and creates friction on the rotor. Okay, at this point, we can take our caliper. We're gonna unhook it from our bungee cord and place it over. Let me just do that with my hands. I'll put the phone down for a minute. Okay, so we're going to lift the caliper out of the bungee cord, and we're just going to, as you can see here, I'm just putting the caliper over the top of the brake pads. We're going to grab the 2 bolts that we took out that hold the caliper to the mounting bracket. We'll start those in by hand. Okay, get the other bolt. Start that in by hand. And we're going to use our air tool again. And again, you can use a regular ratchet or an air tool. Okay, these both have a torque spec. We're going to snug those up. Show you how to use a torque wrench to make sure they're tightened properly. Okay, so this is basically reassembled the way it was. And now we need to reinstall the wheel. So we're going to take, let me put the phone down for a minute because I have to lift this wheel up on the vehicle. This one's a heavy one. So give me a second. As you can see, the wheel's back up on there. You always want to hand thread the lug nuts on first before you tighten them. So you're going to just spin them on a couple turns. Okay, this is going to prevent cross-threading of the nut onto the threads of the stud. I have never seen anybody cross-thread one with their fingers, but I have seen people destroy them with air tools. So if you get it on a little crooked and you try to thread it on there, it'll destroy the threads. And that's a whole nother job, which I can show you, but it's not fun. So we want to prevent that from happening. Okay, so once those are on, they're all hand tight right now. We're going to use a different tool now to tighten these. Instead of using we are going to use our air tool, but instead of using the socket that we used to take it off and pop that off,